Welcome to the Ace JK Tube Fenders installation video. Here's what you'll need to complete this install. A nutsert tool with a 5/16 attachment. If you don't have a professional nutsert tool, we provide one in the hardware pack that works great. RTV silicone, a 3/8 drill bit, the included hardware pack, an automotive panel puller, 10mm socket, 13mm wrench, 13mm socket and ratchet, a drill with a 33/64 drill bit. If you don't have a 33/64 drill bit, you can use a 1/2" drill bit, but you'll need to wiggle it a bit to open the hole slightly larger. Step 1. Before you install your new Ace tube fenders, you'll need to start by removing the stock fenders. Starting with the rear fender, use the automotive panel puller to remove the 6 plastic hangers that hold the stock fender in place. Step 2. Once all of the plastic hangers are removed, grab the front of the fender and wiggle as you pull it away from the body and the fender should come off. Step 3. Once the fender is removed, you may have some clips still attached to the body. Use the panel puller to remove any remaining clips. Before moving on to the install, it's a good idea to grab a shop rag and wipe off any dirt and debris. Step 4. Now using your drill and 33/64 drill bit, you're going to open up these 7 existing factory holes. Once the holes are all opened up, you're going to grab the provided nutsert tool with a nutsert already threaded on and smear some RTV silicone around the nutsert. Step 5. Insert the nutsert tool into the first hole and secure the coupler nut with the 14mm wrench. Then use the 13mm socket and ratchet to tighten the nutsert into place. Once the nutsert is seated, reverse direction with the ratchet and remove the nutsert tool. Step 6. Next, insert another nutsert onto the tool, leaving the washer in place, and repeat the process in the next hole you've drilled. If you have a professional nutsert tool with a 5/16 attachment, install your nutsert and apply some RTV silicone. Insert it into the next hole and squeeze until seated. Then back out the tool and repeat the process for the remaining holes. Once you have all the nutserts installed, go back and wipe off any excessive RTV silicone with a shop rag. Now your fender well should look like this. Step 7. Now you use these 2 bolts, washers, and nuts from the hardware pack to install the fenders loosely into these 2 center holes. Hold the fender in place and insert the bolt with a washer through the fender and body of the Jeep. Loosely tighten it on with a nut and repeat it for the second top hole. These 2 bolts will hold the fender in place while you install the rest of the bolts. Step 8. Install the remaining 7 bolts in the same fashion, hand tightening until they're all in and the fenders are aligned perfectly. Step 9. Once you have the fender hand tightened, go back with a 13mm wrench or 13mm socket and tighten them all down. That completes the rear fender install. When you're finished, it should look like this. Step 10. Moving on to the front fender, you'll need to remove these 6 bolts and 1 plastic hanger. Using a 10mm socket, remove all of the bolts, then use your automotive panel puller to remove the plastic hanger. If you're installing Ace inner fenders as well, you'll want to save these 3 factory bolts from each side as they are reused for that install. Step 11. Unplug the harness for the side marker light. It's hidden up under the inner fender, but shouldn't be a problem once you find it. Step 12. Grab the rear portion of the fender and wiggle it as you pull it away from the body. Step 13. Just like the rear, you'll need to remove any remaining factory clips with the automotive panel puller. Once they're all out, you can clean that area up with a shop rag. Step 14. If you're installing Ace inner fenders without the side marker option, leave this clip in place. If you're installing inner fenders with the side marker option, or not installing any inner fenders, remove this clip. Step 15. You'll want to get your bolts, washers, and nuts lined up as you prepare to mount the fender. Hold the fender in place and then insert a bolt with a washer in one of the rear fender holes that lines up with an existing factory hole. Insert through the fender and Jeep body. Hand tighten a nut onto the bolt. Do the same with one of the front holes so the fender will stay in place. Now repeat this process for the remaining 6 holes that are pre-drilled. Step 16. Once they are all finger tightened, make sure the front of the fender is tight to the body and proceed to tighten down all of the hardware with your 13mm socket and wrench. Step 17. Next, you're going to drill holes in the 4 remaining fender openings that don't have an existing factory hole. Use your 3/8 inch drill bit and drill all the way through the Jeep sheet metal. Step 18. Apply some RTV silicone to the back of the drilled holes and install a bolt and washer through the hole. Hand tighten the nut down on the back side and repeat this process for all 4 bolts. Using your 13mm socket and wrench, tighten down all of the bolts. Repeat these steps on the other side of your Jeep and you are all finished. Congratulations, you've just completed the Ace JK Tube Fender installation. Now get out there and test them out.